Hello, hi, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear and see me
Uh,
clearly? It's,
right, everything is clear. Thank you.
all right, that's great. Is this Dan?
Yes, I
Oh,
am.
nice to meet you
Nice to meet you.
today. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good to hear that. All right, I can see here, Dan, that you chose 5-minute discussion. Is that right?
Right, yes, I chose that.
Okay, so we have two topics in this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So, what will be our first topic?
Right, I think that environment can be a better topic for us. Number
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
right?
this is great. So let's
Mm-hmm.
start
Okay.
with this topic. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you questions and follow-up
Mm-hmm.
questions as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? To expand our
Mm-hmm.
discussion. So let's start with the first question. How has
Mm-hmm.
the world changed since you were a child?
Mm-hmm. So you are asking me about the environment.
Yeah.
So you want me to focus on the pollution or the things
Mm-hmm.
rather than general topics about the environment. So the questions you asked me about
Mm-hmm.
how has the world changed so far, right? So I might answer you
Mm-hmm.
so the introduction of the technology
Oh yeah,
or
this is very
right
general
so
question, right?
the introduction of the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi or the network can
Yeah.
be the newer thing which we didn't have in the
Mm,
previous days, but you didn't expect me to answer
mm,
these things, right? So you
yeah.
you rather want me to answer like the um, rising temperature
Mm,
or the polluted air, those things you are expecting me to answer. Am I correct?
that's right, that's right. Yeah, this
Mm,
is a generalized question actually. Yes. You are correct with that. So the answer could be not focusing on environment and pollution. Very good. So
mm,
it's okay. That's an introduction. So your answer could be about pollution or any changes that you notice since you were a
mm-hmm.
child, and then now
Mm-hmm.
how do you compare it?
Right, but actually,
Mm-hmm.
I think that in order to have a fruitful discussion, we should
Mm-hmm.
rather focus on the
Okay.
environmental topics.
Yes.
Right? So
All
then I
right.
would answer that the rising temperature can be the great difference, can be the big
Mm-hmm.
difference
All right.
compared to the
So,
past days.
okay. Yes,
Right.
yes,
So
that's
it is
true.
really clear that our
Mm-hmm.
temperature wasn't so warm,
That's true. That's
in
true.
the
Very
past
true.
days, right? so
Exactly.
so even in my country, I noticed that
Mm-hmm.
really because
That's
when I was young, it we had a snowfall in winter time, but
oh, really?
these so recent years I have never seen any snow,
Really?
really. So
Oh.
it really indicates that
Mm.
the climate is or the earth is becoming warmer and warmer and warmer,
That's right. That's
right?
right.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
also, how about do you notice any these things in your country?
Yeah, that's true. For
Mm,
example,
mm,
in Mindanao,
mm,
you're
mm,
familiar with Luzon, Visayas in Mindanao,
mm,
right? In the
mm,
Philippines. Okay.
mm, mm,
Before that country is not
mm.
experiencing any typhoon.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but now they are experiencing
Mm.
typhoon. You can just imagine. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it's actually I never heard typhoon in their place before.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but they are experiencing typhoon now. And
Mm-mm.
then also, I don't know if it's true, but somebody said that
Mm-mm.
their place experienced
Mm.
snow, which is very impossible in the Philippines, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but some are claiming that they had snow in their place.
So
So,
do you mean that in the Philippines,
yeah,
the Filipinos are some Filipinos are claiming that they had snowfall in
yeah,
their
yeah,
region
maybe
before.
very like a little
Mm-mm.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is really true that when people live in mountain, right? So
Uh-huh.
if they live high in the mountain,
Yes,
that kind of things might happen.
it might happen.
Rather,
Yes,
maybe you are in the tropical region. Yet
Mhm.
I think that it is still possible to
It is
experience
possible. Yes.
snowfall. right? So if they're
Yeah,
living
so
high
true.
up in the mountain.
Yeah, just
Mm,
like in
mm,
Baguio, the
mm,
place
mm, mm,
here in
mm.
the Philippines.
Uh-huh,
Baguio, it's
uh-huh,
mountainous actually.
uh-huh.
Mm,
Right,
that's true. And
right.
it's very cold there in Baguio
Mm-mm.
City.
Uh-huh, in the winter. Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right.
Mm,
We have the next question. What needs to be done to make
mm,
our environment better?
mm-mm. Right. So first of all, we have to think another way. I mean that we should think how, how can we stop the usage of the fossil fuels. It can be the first way
Hmm.
and the most important way. I mean that we have to reduce the amount of the usage of fossil fuels as
Feels.
soon as possible in
That's
order
true.
to
That's true.
mitigate the climate concerns.
Ah, I see.
Right.
That's
So,
why.
so because of the rising temperature,
Mm.
because of the rising temperature, the sea level is becoming high, and at the same time, it causes a big typhoon or hurricane. As a
Uh-huh.
result, your country is experiencing
Exactly.
typhoon in the Mindanao region, right?
Oh, I
So
see.
you said that in the Mindanao region,
Mm.
typhoon didn't approach,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah.
regions. But now, right now,
Now,
so they
yes.
experiencing that. So I think that the reason is the rising temperature, especially rising temperature in the ocean.
The ocean.
So
Oh, I
I mean
see.
that's the
Wow.
if the ocean is warm,
Mm-hmm.
then the level of the typhoon can become stronger.
Wow.
Right.
It
So
looks like.
yeah, right. The size can become stronger, larger and stronger. Because it needs warmer temperature. Because by increasing the amount of the water drop from the water, the typhoon can grow.
Wow, it's amazing.
Right.
Are you a scientist or an
But yeah,
environmentalist?
it's a very general idea. Like people know that.
Okay, okay. All right, so that's nice. Okay, so are there lessons one can learn from nature?
Right. There are so many lessons that we have to learn from the nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, first of all, let's take a look at the COVID-19, for example.
That's right.
So people say that the COVID-19 the
Mm-hmm.
virus is from a laboratory in China. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know whether that kind of story is true or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Maybe it can be made up by somebody else. But
Yeah.
I think that that kind of
Mm-hmm.
disease which is related to animals is
Animals.
brought by humans, really human beings. Really,
Mm-hmm.
I am really sure about that.
Oh,
Because so people say that so those diseases are from bats in China. Yet
China.
who brought bats to the laboratory or the Wuhan regions? So bats
Mm.
live in. So I mean
The
that's
bats, yeah.
bats. Yeah, bats live in caves.
Yeah, caves, yes, yes, yes.
Caves or in the mountains. So they
Mm-hmm.
never come close to humans, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we live in different regions. Bats live in caves
Caves,
or,
yeah.
canyons or mountains or
Mm-hmm.
river areas. But anyway, their regions are different to us. So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have any contact with those bats or those wild animals. That's
Yeah.
why we didn't have any disease from those animals, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the reason, but anyway, Chinese people wanted to eat them or wanted to use them or wanted to um, use them for laboratory purposes.
Laboratory
But
purpose.
anyway, they
Mm-hmm.
decided to bring those bats from those caves to their regions,
To their
right?
region.
Then they get the disease from bats, and it
Oh,
spread to human
to
beings.
human beings.
So I
That's
think that
terrible. Yeah.
it's a big lesson that we have to
It
learn
is. It
from
is. It is.
that.
That's true. That's true. It is a
Like
big lesson.
right? So we sometimes think that we can use nature as the way
Mm-hmm.
we want to use, but sometimes it is wrong, like we are really powerless in front of the nature.
Yeah, we
So
can do
there are so many
nothing.
things we
Yes,
don't know. There are so many things we don't know yet. So, for
exactly.
example,
Yes.
disease of the animals, disease which is related to animals,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we have to be very, very careful
We
about the
really have
research.
to.
So if we'd like to, so and also, so tasting some exotic animals cannot be a good idea, because we
Mm-hmm.
have kind of tradition, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I mean that people have been eating animals like pigs, cows
Frogs,
or
yeah.
chickens, but we have never. I think that we didn't. I think that nobody have a kind of
Mm.
tradition or habit to eat bats,
Bats, yeah.
right?
Nobody's eating bats here in our country.
Right? Like
Yeah. Frogs, yes,
nobody,
frogs.
right?
Yeah.
Nobody have a habit
Mm.
of eating bats,
No, yeah,
right?
yeah. Snakes, there
So
are
it
people who eat
snakes,
snakes,
right?
yeah.
Snakes, bats, or
Mm.
monkeys, or I think
Monkey.
we don't eat those animals, right?
Yeah.
So in order to satisfy our curiosity, sometimes people wants to taste those animals.
Oh.
But it is, I think that it's a kind of ego of human beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we
Ego,
don't
ego.
have to eat those animals, like we actually monkeys, bats,
Mhm.
snakes, so spiders or
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
it's up to them. But actually, that kind of disease has spread from those animals to human
To
beings.
human beings, that's
So
right.
right, it indicates that we have to think we don't be
Mm.
too much proud. I mean that like so we cannot use nature. I
Mm-hmm.
mean that it's okay to get some resources from nature. I mean that
Mm-hmm.
we need wood, we need stones
Yes, true.
to build a house, right? But also we are allowed to kill animals in order to survive. Like
Yes.
if we do not eat cows, then we cannot get enough protein.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I think that it is not really good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to kill animals in
Mm-hmm.
order to satisfy our
Our
curiosity, or in
curiosity,
order
that's
to
right.
satisfy, or to say that in order
Mm-hmm.
to take advantage of those
Mm-hmm.
wild animals,
Yeah, exactly.
then the nature might make a revenge on us or
That's
against us.
probably that's what's happening, right? That's what's happening right
Right,
now.
yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Mm.
so the nature can become furious against human beings,
Yes,
We
furious,
shouldn't think
exactly.
about, we shouldn't be too much high above the nature. Like,
Yes.
we have. I think that the best approach can be ask for the help from the nature. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'd like to get some of the resources from you in order to
Mm.
survive,
In
right? So
order to survive, yes.
as a
Mm.
species, so
Mm.
we'd like to get some wood from you, or help
Yes.
me because we'd like to eat you because without that we cannot survive. But that
Yes.
kind of approach is good, but just killing animals,
Mm.
it's not really nice, right?
I
So
see.
I think that
Wow.
this is the lesson that we learned in this pandemic, right?
We really learned from it. That's very true. That's very true. Okay,
Right.
that's great. That's great. Okay. And it's,
Yeah, and
everybody.
also do